Alrighty guys, Joel Perez here of Ringside Wrestling for your Monday Night Raw review, August 1st, 2016. Now, this Raw surprised me because it was another very good show. I'm very surprised that they're able to keep this momentum going, the momentum from last week of course, with half a roster. They didn't even use the full roster. We didn't see many names here tonight, and they were still able to put on a very good show. This is very surprising to me, and I hope they can continue and develop a streak next week with 3 good shows in a row. And I just hope the best for Monday Night Raw, because if they continue like this show is going to flourish. I guarantee it. Monday Night Raw is better than it was before when they had a full roster, and that stuns the crap out of me. And I'm glad it's better, because that's all I wanted. And most of what contributes to this better Monday Night Raw is the fact that we have a new set, a new theme. It just feels better. It's a better atmosphere now, instead of looking at the same old white ropes, red lights, and that stupid stage entrance with the commentary table ringside. No, it's different now, and that's what makes it so much better. Let's get into the review. We start with Sasha Banks, who pretty much came out to address her win of Women's Champion, and she came out to a big pop. I'm glad we started out with the women. Sasha Banks comes out, quickly gets interrupted by Charlotte. They throw bombs back and forth at each other. Chris Jericho surprisingly comes out, and he says, "I'm not gonna stand up for what you're saying to Charlotte." Sasha, she said, "Oh, Charlotte, the only reason you were where you are is because you're the daughter of Ric Flair. Any one night stand could have happened, and that's why you're in the place you are." Chris Jericho comes out, says, "I cannot take this. I can't say what you're saying. I cannot believe what you're saying to Charlotte. Charlotte is gold." And then who comes out? Enzo Amore. Enzo Amore, Chris Jericho trash talk each other. And let me tell you something about Enzo Amore and Chris Jericho. They are great on the mic, and they just gelled so well together. Oh my god. And the jokes they threw around were very funny. I cracked a chuckle at all of them. Chris Jericho, Enzo Amore, great on the mic. I have to commend them for that, especially Jericho, who is a veteran. He's been in the business for almost 20 years now, and I mean, he is still great. Mick Foley, the general manager of Raw, quickly comes out and says that we're going to have our first mixed tag team match of the new era. So it's going to be Charlotte and Chris Jericho versus Sasha Banks and Enzo Amore. I did not like the outcome of this match. It was a very good match, but I didn't like the outcome. Sasha Banks got pinned by Charlotte after a natural selection. Sasha actually had Charlotte rolled up. Chris Jericho was about to get in the ring. Sasha slaps Jericho, allowing Charlotte to get that natural selection. I don't think the women's champion should be getting pinned at all, especially Sasha 1 week after winning the title, so I don't like that. I know Charlotte is the #1 contender, but Sasha shouldn't be getting pinned like that, especially after all the momentum she's built up in the past couple weeks. After the match, Enzo Amore gets code breakered by Chris Jericho, and Big Cass quickly comes out and saves the day and ushers Jericho out. I didn't know where this was going until later in the night, where Chris Jericho says, "I've got backup." Fantastic backstage interview with Jericho. He pretty much recapped the events of earlier in the night, and then he's about to leave after he says, "I've got backup," and then Tom Phillips asks, who's your backup? Chris Jericho comes back and he makes up some random name, and he says, "Oh, you don't remember this guy? He won the world championship back in 2008." He said something like that, and nobody knows who he's talking about. And then the camera pans over to Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens says, "I've got your back." So some very intriguing stuff there. I didn't know where this segment was going until Kevin Owens pops up. I thought this would have been a great, I don't know if it's just me, but I thought this would have been a great opportunity to bring back Jericho. I mean, Big Show could have easily been the one to say, "Oh, I got your back, man." Jericho was great back in 2009. That would have been a great opportunity to bring back Jericho, but I don't know if that's me, if I'm just being crazy. But one hit return for Jericho would have been great against Enzo and Cass. And you don't know, the tag team division does need some more tag teams. That would have been a great tag team to add to the already packed tag team division. That is when you combine the tag team division of SmackDown and Raw. Next, we have another squash match with Braun Strowman, and the interviews before these matches are just so hilarious. The people that they're getting, they're saying these ridiculous things, and I'm like, what are these guys even talking about? And let me tell you something, Byron Saxton, this guy is so great at doing interviews. He should be doing backstage interviews and interviews before the matches. He shouldn't be on commentary. Keep the commentary to Cole and Corey Graves. You don't need Byron Saxton. Have him do backstage interviews because he's great at that. But anyways, Braun Strowman, of course, wins. They're not going to have a jobber win to Braun Strowman. So Braun Strowman wins. Braun Strowman, not that impressive. I mean, I'd rather have him in the Wyatt family, but then again, I like Bray Wyatt as a singles competitor. I don't know if that's just me. But Braun Strowman, of course, wins this match, and are my opinions on this one. Maybe he will grow on me, but not right now. Braun Strowman, work is needed. Next, we have Finn Balor come out and address his win last week on Raw. And before he could get much out, Seth Rollins comes out and pretty much tells him, "Oh, I did everything before you. You may have been NXT champion for 292 days, but I was the first NXT champion. You may have beat Roman Reigns, but I beat him at Money in the Bank after coming back from a almost career-ending injury." So Seth Rollins pretty much bashing on Finn Balor, playing the heel role, and Finn Balor tonight really surprised me on the mic. He was able to hang in there with a great mic worker like Seth Rollins. In NXT, he was never really that good on the mic. It was really his in-ring ability that carried his character. He was okay, but tonight he really showed he has potential on the mic, and it looks like Finn Balor does have that potential to become that big star, and WWE is pushing him as so, and he deserves it. Great in-ring talent, and the fact that he's getting those mic skills put together just solidifies him as a main event talent that much more. So Finn Balor, can't wait. I want him to go to SummerSlam, win that Universal Championship, have a great first rookie year, if you want to compare this to actual sports. Finn Balor, great talent. I wish him the most success in WWE, and he should go and win at SummerSlam. Seth Rollins, we've got to commend you too. Great on the mic. Seth Rollins bashing that Atlanta Braves. Seth Rollins, he's just great at playing that heel role. I did originally think that he should have came back and played a face against Roman Reigns, but that heel role does really stick for Seth Rollins. Next, we have Mark Henry versus Rusev for the United States title. Why Mark Henry is getting a United States title match is beyond me, but he did lose. The motto for this match was Mark Henry's bringing back the Hall of Pain. He failed at that, tapping out against Rusev. But the interesting thing here is what happens after the match. Roman Reigns comes out and confronts Rusev. Rusev's cutting a promo, bashing the US, and here comes Roman Reigns, and he stares down Rusev, They have a brawl. Roman Reigns obviously comes on top in this brawl. The crowd was actually cheering for Roman Reigns. Why? Because he's not in the World Heavyweight title. He's not in that bout. He shouldn't be in that bout. He's not ready for that bout. The fact that he's being toned down to the United States title really does make sense. I like Roman Reigns in that United States title picture. You need a good Intercontinental title or United States title reign before you can elevate yourself up to that main event spot. Not regarding Finn Balor. Finn Balor already had his title reign as NXT champion. So that's Finn Balor's title reign. So Roman Reigns versus Rusev probably happening at SummerSlam. Pretty good promo by Rusev after the match. I do think Lana should be doing his promos. It would sound more heelish, but Rusev is great on the mic by himself. He doesn't really need Lana besides the look of Lana, the look and presence that Lana gives him, because he is great on the mic, and I think managers should be used for guys who aren't great on the mic. And Rusev wasn't great on the mic when they introduced Lana with him, but now Rusev has just really developed as a talent, and he's fantastic in the ring. He didn't put on a good match with Mark Henry, but it's because he's in the ring with Mark Henry. Big guy versus big guy matches really don't work. Guys like Roman Reigns and Rusev, the more athletic big guys, those guys gel well. Not a big guy like Mark Henry versus a big guy like Rusev. But anyways, I am excited for Rusev versus Roman Reigns probably for the United States title at SummerSlam. I don't want Rusev to lose the United States title. If he actually got a win over Roman Reigns, that'd be pretty big for Rusev. It'd actually elevate him back to that monster heel he was before. So I'm hoping to see Rusev win at SummerSlam. It really was unexpected for me to see Roman Reigns come out after I really didn't know where to put him on the SummerSlam card, but WWE did find a good place for him. I originally booked him going against Chris Jericho or something, I don't know. Maybe like in a feud just to elevate him back into that main event status, maybe against Jericho. But the United States title, a big focus for Roman Reigns, and a good one for him going into SummerSlam. Put him somewhere on the card. I would have originally had Cesaro going for the United States title, but that obviously did not happen, sadly. But, you know, whatever. Next, we had Nia Jax in a squash match, and they did play a good promo for her. I like these squash matches. Nia Jax, very impressive talent, and I want the crowd to get to know her. They did play a video package and where she did look dominant, so the crowd gets to know her. We had Darren Young versus Titus O'Neil, the former primetime players, and this looks like a good feud going into SummerSlam. Darren Young versus Titus O'Neil. The match, it was pretty mundane, but Titus O'Neil rolls Darren Young up, grabbing the tights. So a Titus O'Neil heel turn is not something I would mind seeing. I do like Titus O'Neil as a heel. It looks like he would be a good heel, especially against Darren Young, who is pretty good in the ring. And Bob Backlund, oh my god, this man, he's absolutely delusional, and just seeing him yelling is just so funny. The man just gives off a funny look, like it's Bob Backlund in the WWE in 2016. Who thought they would see that? But pretty good feud going into SummerSlam. If they do decide to put it like on the pre-show or something, I don't want to see it on the main card. What really made this interesting was a segment they had backstage where Bob Backlund and Titus O'Neil are pretty much bickering and they're yelling at each other, and it's pretty funny. And then Darren Young attacks Titus O'Neil from behind, saying, "Don't talk to my manager like that. Don't talk to my manager like that." There's some very interesting stuff there. If they progress this feud throughout the weeks and don't forget about it, which is pretty likely, it could be a pretty good feud heading into SummerSlam. Cesaro and Sheamus had a backstage segment where they voiced their complaints with Stephanie and Mick Foley. They are saying, why is Mark Henry getting a U.S. title shot and not us? Not together, of course. They are fighting, arguing with each other there, and Mick Foley pretty much steps up and says, the reason you guys aren't getting a U.S. title shot and why you didn't get drafted higher is because, Cesaro, you had a shoulder injury. we don't want that shoulder injury to pop up again. You aren't really a reliable superstar with this shoulder injury, so we didn't want to draft you higher. He did say Cesaro was in the first round of picks originally until the shoulder injury came into factor, and then Sheamus was the reason he didn't get drafted higher, of course, is because he hasn't really been in a major role since he cashed in his Money in the Bank last year, is what Mick Foley says. So giving explanation towards why they weren't drafted higher, and then he goes on to say, if you guys want to prove your worth to this company and stop voicing your complaints on backstage segments on Raw, because Cesaro obviously wasn't happy and he said he wanted to go to Smackdown. Mick Foley brought that up. Cesaro said, no, I don't. But Mick Foley pretty much goes on to say, go out there, have a match against each other, let out your frustrations against each other instead of on an interview backstage. He says, let out your frustrations against each other and have a match, and whoever goes on to win that match will get a match for the United States Championship. And that very well did happen later in the night. But for now, Nia Jax's squash match actually came after that, and then a New Day promo. New Day, they're great on the mic. I enjoyed this promo more than the one they did last week. But the dick jokes. New Day can make all these dick jokes, and then another superstar can't even say ass. They have to say bum or behind. Like, what? But anyways, New Day, great promo here into a match with Gallows and Anderson. Of course, Gallows and Anderson have the match. Xavier Woods is the one who can't be ringside, because that's the special thing about this match. One of the Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson requested that one member of the New Day not be outside because it is a 3-2 advantage. So some very smart thinking from Gallows and Anderson there. Xavier Woods is the one chosen to go backstage and not be outside ringside, which pretty much doesn't matter because he's always ringside anyways, and he pretty much just plays the trombone. But anyways, they go on to have the match, and it ends pretty quickly. Anderson does the too sweet, and Kofi, I think it is able to roll Anderson up. I didn't like that. The club didn't really look very imposing. They did after the match. They started attacking the New Day, and they looked pretty strong after the match, but I don't think they should be losing matches if you want to make them look strong. If they're losing matches back and forth, especially as quickly as they did tonight, I don't think they look very good like that. But the assault they did is what should have happened during the match. They assaulted the New Day, they assaulted Big E especially. They did the Magic Killer twice on Big E, and Xavier Woods did come out to try to assist Big E and Kofi Kingston in the assault, but he got assaulted as well. In the New Day, it looked like Big E especially got injured. They played a backstage section where Big E was very hurt, and they were asking him what's wrong, and there were doctors around him. So Big E seems to be out of action, and it does look like this will be the feud for the New Day going into SummerSlam. I would have originally went with Gallows and Enzo and Cass, but that obviously didn't happen. So Gallows and Anderson it is. I hope they do win the tag titles, because they would be pretty good tag team champions. In a feud with Enzo and Cass and Gallows and Anderson wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if you ask me. We have Cesaro versus Sheamus in a pretty decent match. I did enjoy it. Sheamus is a very good in-ring competitor, as well with Cesaro. It was pretty much a typical Cesaro match. Being assaulted, gets his momentum, the uppercuts. Pretty impressive match. Sheamus looked impressive, and it looks like this will be a feud going into SummerSlam. One of the mid-card feuds going into SummerSlam, as after Cesaro won via the neutralizer, they're calling it the Gotch neutralizer now, which I like that. Via the neutralizer, Cesaro wins. After the match, they go to commercial break, and Sheamus and Cesaro are still going after each other. I like that this match meant something. Whoever won this match would go on to get a United States title matchup So I like that it meant something, and I cannot wait for Cesaro versus Rusev next week. I am assuming it will be. Next, we have, well, this was pretty much in conjunction. The referees were holding Cesaro and Sheamus back, and then Heath Slater comes out and says 2MB is back. Jinder Mahal is in the ring with him. He's asking for them to sign both of them. 2MB, obviously Drew McIntyre isn't there anymore, but Mick Foley comes out and says whoever wins a one-on-one match between you two gets signed. Heath Slater's like, oh no, I don't want that, I don't want that. Jinder Mahal sneaks up from behind, tells the referee to ring the bell, gets the big boot on Heath Slater. 1, 2, 3, Jinder Mahal is now on Raw. Do I care? No. Jinder Mahal is a talent that maybe had potential back then, but I really do not give a crap about Jinder Mahal. Now, as for what he will do, that's my answer is I don't care. It's Jinder Mahal. That's definitely the worst thing that happened tonight. I really do not give a crap about Jinder Mahal. If you guys do give a crap, good for you. After Jericho's promo, which I talked about earlier in this video, we have Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins. Oh my god, Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins put on a fantastic match. Did you expect them to do any less? It's Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins. This is definitely a match that can main event any pay-per-view, a WrestleMania, an NXT TakeOver Special, anything. This match was fantastic. And Sami Zayn, how many times am I going to praise this guy for his fantastic matches? It's Sami Zayn. Oh my god. I love you, Sami Zayn. You are amazing in that ring. Amazing with a capital A, that is. But anyways, Seth Rollins does get the win. Seth Rollins looking impressive towards SummerSlam against Finn Balor, and he's looking like a threat for Finn Balor, being the heel. Wins clean, of course, which heels should get their clean wins every once in a while. More often than every once in a while, heels should be getting clean wins. Look at Samoa Joe down in NXT, for example. But anyways, Seth Rollins, very impressive win here in a very great match. Wins via the pedigree. They gave this match its good time. Sami Zayn looking good going against the main event superstars. I don't know what Sami Zayn will be doing heading into SummerSlam. I did think they were going to put Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens again in a ladder match, which would be fantastic. But for there to be a ladder match, there'd have to be title gold around one of their waists, and I doubt they're going to beat Rusev anytime soon. So Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, I thought they were going to continue that feud, but Battleground seems to be the end from the way they were talking about it on commentary tonight. And Kevin Owens does seem to be caught up with Jericho and Enzo and Cass. So no Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens 3 on the main roster, sadly. I don't know what Sami Zayn will be doing. Maybe he'll go and insert himself into Cesaro versus Sheamus. I don't know. But Sami Zayn, he is a fantastic talent, and it saddens me to see that he's not really doing anything right now. So get him doing something. He was in a fantastic match with Seth Rollins tonight, but besides that, I don't know what the future holds for Sami Zayn, and that leaves me a little worried because I don't want him to suffer the same fate of Apollo Crews or Baron Corbin, of not having anything to do on the main roster and therefore losing steam with the crowd, because he does seem to be very over with the crowd right now. And then, of course, we have the moment that everybody was waiting for the entire night: Brock Lesnar coming out and returning to the WWE for the first time since WrestleMania, and Paul Heyman is of course with him, and Paul Heyman cuts a devastating, monstrous promo like he always does, like only Paul Heyman could. And let me tell you something about Paul Heyman. I love this guy. Why don't you put him with more people to get him over? Don't put him with Jinder Mahal, or don't put him with, well, Curtis Axel could have benefited him, but I know many people say Brock Lesnar is the only guy Paul Heyman works with, but I don't know about that. Maybe have him get a Baron Corbin over, that would be great. Baron Corbin, of course, isn't on Raw, he's on SmackDown, but Paul Heyman, I just love this guy. He's freaking amazing. Every time he comes out and does a promo, he has you listening. And if I ever get into the WWE, I want to have the mic skills of Paul Heyman. I don't know if I'm that good. I don't know if I'll ever be that good, but I'm certainly practicing. Believe that. Brock Lesnar stands there. Of course, there's no mention of the drug violation from the USDA. Of course, WWE is not going to mention that. But, you know, it is what it is. People were chanting Suplex City. Pretty dead crowd while they were out there. Until Randy Orton comes out and RKOs Brock Lesnar out of nowhere. Paul Heyman's preaching, oh, Randy Orton will never, ever RKO. Will never ever RKO Brock Lesnar. Randy Orton comes out of nowhere and RKOs Brock Lesnar. Whoa, it's a big surprise there, out of nowhere. But anyways, what I didn't like about this promo was that they kept hyping the RKO like if one RKO could finish Brock Lesnar. But Paul Heyman said he wouldn't hit that RKO. Paul Heyman should have said it doesn't matter how many RKOs you hit, Brock Lesnar will kick out. That's what he should have said. I don't like the fact that they were hyping up the RKO as this all almighty move. If the Intercontinental Champion could take 2 RKOs from Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar will go down at the hands of 1, does that mean that The Miz is now all of a sudden more powerful than Brock Lesnar? Put that to mind, ladies and gentlemen. But anyways, good Raw tonight. I did enjoy this Monday Night Raw. Very good Raw tonight. I hope they can keep up a streak of 3 Monday Night Raws in a row next week. As for Smackdown, I don't even know what's going on with that brand. I'm completely scared for Smackdown tomorrow night. Smackdown last week was just completely abysmal, and I hope they can make more exciting stuff out of tomorrow night's Smackdown. Smackdown should be able to compete with Raw, and I thought it was going to do better than Raw since it is the 2-hour show, and 2-hour shows for WWE are more streamlined and easier to produce. But no, Smackdown was just completely abysmal last week. This Monday Night Raw continues the good track record of the Monday Night Raw last week. It didn't need to be as good as the Monday Night Raw last week. The Monday Night Raw last week needed to be good because it was the first Monday Night Raw, but this one didn't. It just had to keep Raw in good eyes. It needs to keep that streak that Raw needs to develop desperately, especially after these nightmarish Monday Night Raws that we've been getting throughout 2015 and 2016. So good Raw tonight. Let's hope the same for SmackDown tomorrow night. For now, this has been Joel Perez of Ringside Wrestling Entertainment. I hope you enjoy what you saw in this review, and go check out the other content on the channel. I uploaded a Roman Reigns Fall of the Roman Empire video just yesterday, so go check that out. You will also be seeing weekly SmackDown and Raw reviews every single week. Stay tuned for a top 10 that I will be uploading on my top 10 greatest matches of all time. That's WWE. Alright, this has been it for us. Go check out everything that I just told you. There will be a link in the description. Also, like, comment, and especially subscribe. It would really help us out. And that's all for today, folks. I'm out of here.